Thank you for joining me. This is Jose Gonzalez, one of my favorite clients at Trifecta
Wow.
Medical.
Well, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you for having me.
yeah, I am grateful that you are spending the next 30 minutes to an hour, however long you are able to provide.
We'll go as long as we need to. I'm ready.
How was your day today?
Busy, but well. I work at a junior high, so I deal with a lot of junior high kids.
Oh,
Very
man.
active, busy. Along with that, though, requires a lot of energy.
Okay.
But I think you can feed off energy. I'm a individual that feeds off the others' energy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm in a good place in life that if I need to create the energy, I can bring that to the table.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of picked that up right away whenever we, just in the chats that we had. I think it was really just insightful to like watch you process the things that you knew and the things that I knew and then blend them. Because both of us, I feel like, share the space of we don't hate modern medicine. It's not an anti, against the science or the grain, like the dogma, like the main old school, processes. But it's more of like just asking those questions, like, why do we do what we do? And patients aren't feeling heard. I've been on that side of it. And it seems like you've also been on that side. And it's like, as a doctor, all I can give is medication, So I was like, I have to do more than just this. It feels so pointless.
Yeah. Just kind of like my natural progression of growing and learning. I believe that if you're not growing, you're dying in all areas, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
in your relationships, whether it's financially, whether it's spiritually, whether it's emotionally or
Mm-hmm.
health. So I'm always looking at how can I improve my longevity,
Mm-hmm.
my wellness.
Yeah.
Um, I have this vision of wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like?
Yeah. What
And,
does it
and I
look
share it.
like?
So for me, it starts off spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then everything flows from there. You can have somebody who's emotionally and mentally tough,
Mm-hmm.
but can still suffer with a lot of mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
But you show me a mature spiritual person
Mm-hmm.
and they're mentally and emotionally sound. And there's a difference because it comes within.
Yeah.
Um, so again, it starts spiritually, then it grows, that flows to the mind,
Mm-hmm.
and then that flows, physically.
Yeah.
If you're physically not in a good place,
Mm-hmm.
then you cannot do the things that you want to do, um, whether it's being active or being showing up as a father or showing up at work, right? Because it
Mm-hmm.
all blends. It's all interconnected. So I'm always looking at areas. So how can I grow?
Mm-hmm.
Um, from a fitness, from a nutritional standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually. I mean, we can go on and on and on. So for me, that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Being whole, spiritually sound, and then everything flows from there to the mental, the emotional side, and then the physical side.
That's that's your core. So that's a really
Those are my
good,
pillars. Yeah.
yep. And then physically, health and wellness is very important to you. And taking a natural approach, it is more off the mainstream. There it seems easier to just inject things that or go towards synthetics or like a fake energy, anything that like enhances you short term. But you're choosing a longer path. You want to live longer. You want to do things a natural way. And, to do that and gain muscle, keep your health, keep your mental clarity and your peace. Was there something in your life that maybe prompted you to shift, or have you always had this perspective?
So let me kind of go back a little bit to your previous question, like how did this journey on fitness and health started,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, you know, I think I can probably say honest, just my experience. Everybody when they start this health journey, fitness is for vanity, selfish reasons. Like you want to look good because you want to attract compliments or you want to attract the opposite sex, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. That's why I started working out 20 years ago.
So that
Um,
kick-started your
it
journey,
started
the
kickstarting that
aesthetic
journey.
of it.
Yeah, And then through that journey, obviously you get temptations of, in our town, we're very well known for individuals, high school kids starting steroids at a young age.
Oh yeah.
Luckily, for whatever reason, I never chose that route, and I just consistently just try to do it the right way. Um, it's been a long journey. Now I'm 30 years into it, 50 years now. So I've been in the working out fitness industry for 30 years. But through that journey, things change. You evolve as an individual. You adapt to new things. You find out different things that work better for your body, whether it's different body movements, different lifts,
Styles of working out.
styles of working out. I'm very old school, traditional, where I think in order if you're going to grow muscle, you just got to lift heavy stuff.
So
You
you're
got to lift it.
heavyweight, low rep.
Um, a combination of both, because you need both to really target the different muscle fibers, slow and fast twitch muscle fibers. So you need
Right.
both. So I do a lot of compounds, and then I do a lot of like supplemental exercises to with high reps. So
Okay.
you can target both. Studies show that that's what actually helps
Well, that's
muscle growth.
awesome. Yeah.
So over the years, just adapted, and then you grow, and then you start realizing. I wish I could say that I was disciplined enough in some areas, but like I said, I'm a man of faith. There was about 8, 9 years ago that I had a drink of alcohol, and my body just rejected it. I wish I can say, I just woke up one day and I'm like, no, your body rejected it, right? We hear stories in the medical field, women who get breast transplants, but their body rejects it, right? So
Oh yeah.
it's kind of similar. So for me, alcohol was pushed aside. So I haven't had a drink in like 7 years.
Was it like initially something that was, I guess, a disruption in some sort of way,
Yeah. So
or affecting you?
I'll give you an example. Went out to dinner at the time I was married. Went out to dinner with a couple. Had dinner and drinks. 2 glasses of wine. I woke up in the middle of the night like I just pounded bottles, right?
Interesting.
So then I associated it with that, right? And then the next time, I'm not a big. By now, I'm not a heavy drinker at all, but I go out the next time again with couples and have 1 glass, and it was miserable. So then I'm like, this is no longer for me, right? Sometimes you just outgrow things in life, whether they're relationships or
Yeah.
hobbies or whatnot. So
you know
this
why?
was, yeah.
Do you know why?
Why?
No one's told you?
No.
Oh, this is fun.
So fill me
So
in. Enlighten me, please.
if you have 1 to 2 drinks and then you feel, as you're describing, as my body rejected me, but really you're saying, did you feel flushed? Like you felt like you're having an allergic reaction?
No, I woke up in the middle of the night like I was hungover, like somebody beat me with the bat.
Yeah. So you have a severe deficiency of a certain enzyme that most people have that allows you to break down alcohol.
And
So,
I'm lacking
you
that?
are lacking it, and you can
Thank you, God, for
theoretically,
that.
yeah. So it's like God's like, choose something else.
right.
Yeah. So, so that particular situation, like, I guess the question is, can you supplement that? Yes, we can. It's not a readily available thing. Like glutathione helps. That would help with a hangover feeling, but that's such a fun fact. I'm glad
Yeah.
that you have never
No,
heard
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to
Yeah.
honestly to even have a drink anymore. But so just kind of adapt through that, and then at some point, God gave me this vision to, I want you to live to 140 years old. So then,
I believe
what
it's
is
possible.
it is now with technology now that you and I have talked about it at our sessions. But so then you start looking into what does that look like? What is it going to take, right? Because we can have visions, we can have dreams, but if you don't take the proper steps, actions, then you're never going to achieve those things. So then, really dove deep into that, to doing sauna 4 or 5 times a day, cold plunges every day, first thing in the morning, working out, being really precise with my nutrition, the
Yeah, you're
type of
very
foods,
precise with it.
and then even incorporating extra cardio as you get older, right? Your
What are you
testosterone
trying
levels-
to achieve with the extra cardio?
Well, two things. Obviously, longevity, right? We're looking at 140 years old, and the where I'm coming here, kind of like a crossroad, is I still have this vision of what a 50-year-old body should look like, and
Mm-hmm.
not what the world, but my vision of what a 50-year-old body should look like.
So more like 30,
Yeah,
25.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
So
Yeah,
and
same. There's no
that's
reason why you can't.
and yeah,
No reason.
and you can nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I've learned through this journey is that I've achieved the best physique that I could actually ever have at the age of 48. And do I look like I looked at 48? No, but I'm pretty darn close to it. And with the right steps and measurements, if I
Mm-hmm.
needed to,
Yeah.
I'm only like 5, 6 weeks away from doing
Uh-huh.
what I need to look like that again, right? So I
Yeah.
never really deviate and get like quote unquote out of shape.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, because when I see you, like, just over time, you're hard on yourself. But I'm like, I think you are doing fantastic.
yeah. Well, thank you.
But we
Yeah.
have different metrics of what is wellness, what is longevity. You know, in my industry, to live longer is such an ambitious goal. 140 sounds crazy, but the answer to find that is really to go slower, which is just so weird because you would think like I need to try harder to live longer, but you need to actually like mostly do less and live less hard and less aggressively, like
Yeah.
more
I
peacefully.
so there's a rhythm, and I think you and I talked a little bit
Yeah.
about this, right? There's a rhythm to life. And I've always, believe it or not, up until probably 7 years ago, I had that mentality of like, I'm going to outground you. I'm going to outwork you. If I need to work out, wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So before I became a vice principal, I used
That's
to be a
me.
school psychologist. So I would wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and start writing psychology reports and plans for students.
Because it
And then
feels
I would,
like borrowed time, right?
oh,
It feels like you've gained extra
well,
time
well,
to get ahead.
yes,
I used
but
to
then
feel that.
there's this ego.
Mm-hmm.
There's this ego like I'm emailing all you fools
Mm-hmm.
before you wake up and have a cup of coffee. I
Yeah.
already wrote 2 reports and worked out. Here you go. So, but that's like I'm
Yeah.
going to outground you. I'll ground you.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that mentality too was just bringing sports. And then Kobe Bryant was like at one time was an idol, and his mentality was, I'm going to do 2 workouts a day. So it doesn't matter how hard you work out because it compounds, right? You
Mm-hmm.
do 2 workouts a day after 14 day after 7 days is 14, right? You've only done 7, I've done 14. And when you start compounding that after a month, after a year, after 5 years, after 10 years, you're not catching me, right? So I had this, but
Yeah.
the
Which
thing
is
is,
not
it's not
accurate.
healthy.
Yeah, it's not
It's
accurate.
not healthy
That's a,
either.
that's a false belief that we used to fall for. I fell for it.
Yeah. So I've adapted a different rhythm, right? Very intentional about my life and what I allow myself to spend time because I'm very honored and grateful that I'm here. But when I say yes to this,
Mm-hmm.
I said no to something else, right?
Exactly.
So you have to be very intentional about those things. Am I
Right.
perfect? No, but we try to be intentional.
Yeah.
And then now, going back to the question of finding a better rhythm of life is, you reflect at night, what needs to be done the next day, where did I miss my
Which what you're
burials?
describing is really a meditation. So medically, there's a lot of studies that just show meditating, even 10 minutes is just healing. So that's okay, that's awesome. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and
That's
just
science
well,
supported.
not only that, but faith, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this too off the air. What is your brain? Neuroplasticity, right? It
Yeah.
changes, it adapts it.
It
What we
does.
feed it, right? Our
Yeah.
our thoughts,
Yeah.
and all of that. Believe it or not, it goes back biblical. Like all this stuff, like it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
So I've adapted a better rhythm where I reflect, meditate. What are the things where I missed the mark? How could I have improved today? Okay, I'm going to leave that behind. How can I use that and see it as a way of overcoming it and not fall into the same mistake the next day, right?
That's
And
so
then I do it.
thoughtful.
Am I perfect against this or no? But we try to be intentional, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what happens is life comes and whatever which way the wind blows, you go. And then you wake up one day and you're either divorced or you're bankrupt and you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Well, because you're not, I mean, those are extreme examples,
But
but
are they though? I don't know.
no, they're not. No, they're
Yeah.
not.
I've had two
I,
divorces.
and,
That's too many.
and same here. And, but the beautiful thing about it too, those that I found out is that, I'm at a point of life where if I'm going to experience any pain, there's going to be a trade-off.
What's
I'm
that?
gonna that trade-off, that pain is gonna cost somebody something. Meaning, I'm either gonna gain some wisdom from it, is gonna make me stronger, is gonna propel me to grow in something. But that pain is not just gonna be like, oh, I'm hurt and I'm done. No, there's gonna be a purpose for it.
A purpose for like all the suffering. I say that. That's funny.
There's purpose in it.
Yeah,
There's
like
purpose.
everything I learned was painfully learned, and I don't know how to.
It doesn't have to be that way too.
I don't know, but does it? I don't know how to learn.
It doesn't have to be.
Stress learning is the most effective, but maybe there. I would take it. I would. Please tell me the other way.
So let me finish back up a little bit and we'll come back to this. So the better rhythm of life too is, on Sundays I reflect. I try to pause. I don't try to do any work. I try to really spend some time in myself. And not at work. And it's a way of pausing, recharging myself to prepare me for the well, so I can be more focused, right, and more efficient.
Just one day per week is
yeah. And then I tell people like if you're not used to it, because in this society, in this world, it's like, grind, work. You're gonna grind yourself to some mental illness, right, or some mental health.
Well, I don't want to say mental illness, but it's like. Yeah,
so,
but you just like drive yourself into the ground, like full depletion. Like you run out of all of your chemicals. Like you have just nothing left in the tank.
Or you drive your family to the ground.
Yeah, I don't. I
Right?
should do.
Like, I mean,
I should talk more. Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking from experience. So
Yeah.
But so try to be very intentional about Sundays and just reflecting and taking back. But to go back to your, what's your other question? You follow up that.
I asked you. I threw several kind of showered questions your way, but really, I mean, the point is to go slower and to take those intentional pauses, which are science based. That's meditation. And that's a space where, if you're always in overdrive and always thinking you can borrow time and just do laps around people, your heart rate's it's faster. So your heart is working harder, and to work harder, you're using energy, and that takes neurotransmitters, chemicals, enzymes. Like you're doing physical work and giving off energy, right? So
damage in our body, right?
It's damage, and
why we're trying to be healthy, like it doesn't make any sense,
and that,
right?
Yeah, that damage is actually called oxidation. So fatty oxidation. You're taking from your stored sources around the liver, visceral organs, or any fat storage, and you're just like, that's what you're using. And it can be good short term. It can increase your cortisol, which is actually not bad short term. That increases your immune system. Right. It's like an immune boost. But then chronically, you're killing yourself. You have to have the rest. You have to have that recovery phase to build the muscle, to heal, to replenish everything that you just used up.
Yeah,
burned out.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then just kind of going back to, I said an extreme example is that we go doing life without being intentional, and then the wind blows, and then all of a sudden we're either bankrupt or there's issues in a relationship or at work, right? And that part of it is because we were not intentional in looking at where we're at in certain areas of our life, and then here we are dealing with the mess.
Yeah,
right?
and so say you're intending to slow down, and in regular medicine you would say, okay, well, here's a Xanax. Do you see anything wrong with that, or is that the space to deviate?
I'm a big believer. I don't believe in any. I've done a little bit of research. Obviously, you're the expert on this area, but any substance that you take, there's going to be a side effect, and at least
Completely
just to simplify things based on the knowledge and my studying and research is that we treat symptoms, not the root, right?
Totally, that's what brought me here.
So
because it's not adequate.
And I've been pretty healthy. To be honest, I've been pretty healthy all my life.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty healthy.
By the standards the standard of medicine, you're
is well.
healthy.
Thank you. Well, thank you. So like to me that's never made any sense. And I used to be a school
I hear this all
psychologist,
the
right?
time. Yeah.
I used to be a school psychologist, and at one time I believed that, that all of our mental illnesses were chemical imbalances, right?
I completely
Um,
agree.
Here's
Totally.
medication, right?
Yeah.
So let me go as far as medicine, and I'll just be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a divorce 7 years ago. I did not want that all, and I'm smiling now because that crushed me.
Mm-hmm.
That crushed me. We're having this conversation 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You would have looked at me and you were like, "You're a pathetic dude. Get over it."
Oh.
But that's where I was.
So that
I
was
was
like your
mentally.
lowest
That was
low.
my lowest low.
Yeah.
But again, based on that, at some point, and I'll just be very transparent. There's a time and place for medication.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
literally went 30 days without sleeping, not 10 minutes, not 10 minutes. I was still going to work. I was still working out. It's not healthy, right?
No,
It's
because then
not
you have
healthy.
a severe
So I
crash.
needed,
Like harm is happening.
right.
Years
So,
are taken off.
so at that, yeah. So at that point, I said, okay, like I cannot outwork this out. No matter how much I worked out and how much I ran, I'm not out benching, I'm not out squatting this divorce. But what I learned later on is what I realized that I was really mentally and emotionally fragile. And this is
Mm-hmm.
no shot at
Mm-hmm.
anybody. I'm just
Yeah.
reflecting on me.
Reflecting.
I will never, ever, ever, ever feel like that again. Ever.
I love that.
So when I say pain's gonna pay me, you got me. You got me
You
there,
got
bro.
schooled.
You
That
got
was a
schooled,
life
and I love it.
lesson.
But again, because I used that, God opened my eyes and helped me realize what I needed. And that started a journey of going even deeper and more focused
Mm-hmm.
on my health and overall wholeness. I didn't know what wholeness was.
Mm-hmm.
And through this journey, I discovered wholeness.
You had to be broken first, which is
You have
like
to be, yeah.
awful.
So yeah. So, but I've shared this with you, kind of like off record. People who believe in Christianity or whatnot. We have this Americanized Christianity where we want Jesus, give me that job. Jesus, give me that marriage. Give me that car.
Mm-hmm.
Give me all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We all want that resurrection,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody wants to be crucified.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to crucify. But what
Yeah.
I've learned is I salivate. I love the crucifixion
Mm-hmm.
because I know it's going to pay me something. And on
Yeah.
the other end,
Yeah.
I'm going to come out way better. I'm
Stronger.
going to come out spiritually, emotionally fit. Somehow I'm going to come out better because of it if
Yeah.
you do it the right way, right? Going back to medication, you can medicate yourself and be numb. You're not growing. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a time and place, just going back to the whole medication, there's a time and place. I had
Yeah.
it be stabilized.
Yeah.
So after about 3 months of being on medication, I was like, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
And I did this kind of like on my own without my doctor. I don't recommend this, but we're all different.
Yeah.
But slowly I weaned myself off of it. And I'd say I believe by the end of the 4th month, I was completely, and I still had to process and deal with things, right?
Oh yeah, that's always
so-
going to be on the table.
Right. But again, that's where my whole, I started finding out too things like, you can experience depression or anxiety when you're moving. You can be digging a hole. You can be working out. You can be walking.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot experience anxiety or depression as long as you're moving.
Well, to that note, I feel like maybe staying moving was my tool to really sit still long enough to not even feel sadness. Like I'm building an empire. I can't feel that, but it does at some
Which is-
point come up.
Yeah. So, and here's where I'm going with this too, because all of us will kind of like either will focus all that energy on our work,
Not work
working
it.
out or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's good. But this is where I'm going. At some point, you got to go in there
You have
and
to.
deal with that root.
You have to.
because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, it's gonna manifest at
Yeah.
some point of your life
Through
And
like
that
other relationships, through some level
finance
of
or
health.
codependency or something, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's TV, whether it's spending,
Yeah.
because you never dealt with whatever that root is.
There's
right?
a lot of predictive comorbidities. So, like different diseases
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can
comorbidity.
physically predict and see come out. And, there's studies, it shows like 5-10 years or I'll have to pull those, but
No, yeah,
it's still
I
just,
believe it.
it goes into your body and then you just manifest it into some illness.
It's got to come out somewhere.
It literally
And
does.
in a way, right? Like you started your career, pursue that, and really
Mm-hmm.
energize your pain or trauma to grow that, which is great.
Yeah.
Uh, I did it as far as growing even more physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, at some point, I had to really go in and forgive my kid's mom. At really,
Mm-hmm.
really
Because it would
at
make
the
you
core.
sick. It would make you
Right. Like
toxic.
we talk about, but even resentment at one point I thought it was good because he would energize me, and
Mm-hmm.
I've had some of the best workouts, right? But at the root of it, I'm still
Yeah.
drinking that poison, right?
Yeah.
So, but
So that's
everything, but
dopamine dump that you are
right,
surged with epi, norepi, and then you can now. It looks like you change that into like your cold plunges and other forms to access that
right,
source.
yeah, and I think I believe and I feel like I've done the deep healing, and everybody has their own different ways of
Mm-hmm.
doing it, right? Whether it's through counseling. I was lucky enough that God placed some mentors, spiritual leaders in my life, and that helped with the whole growing and healing. Um, Now I do the workouts and all of that, but there's a different why I'm doing it now. Now is
Mm-hmm.
I want to live long, but not just because um, oh look, I live
To
longer
win,
than everybody.
trying to win
It's
again.
not like
Yeah.
for me now is to be around for my kids, their
Mm-hmm.
grandkids. Can I be a positive influence in whatever setting that I am, whether it's the grocery store? Can I touch somebody's heart in
Mm-hmm.
life? And I'm not trying to say I'm this big person, but if I can help somebody in any capacity, then that's an extra token that we can make this world a better place.
We're
So I
so
look at it
aligned with
from
that.
so I look at
Yeah.
it that way, right? And it's not
Absolutely.
about the money. It's not about any of those things. I've come to the realization of wholeness is really, really important. How many times do we see successful people, whether they're in the business space, athletics,
Appear to
entertainment,
have it all.
and they commit suicide?
Yeah.
Fully
Yeah.
successful. Like you look into like how? Well, I'll tell
Yeah.
you
Like
why.
you had it all,
I
but
tell you
really,
why. You were not whole. You
yeah.
were not complete.
Yeah. They probably.
Um,
Yeah.
and 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 part of it is too is I've done some studies on this. Um, there's a difference between success and fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a formula to success. If I work out for 30 years straight and I eat pretty healthy, I'm gonna have a decent physique.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fulfillment though? You know what I mean?
Subjective.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
What was the core? What's the reason? Why are we driving this? So, that
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's why wholeness is very important. Um, I think that it aligns more with fulfillment
Mm-hmm.
than
I
success.
like
And
that.
there's nothing wrong with success. I'm not,
Yeah.
like to each his own. But I, I would hate to for anybody, including anybody close in my close circle, to reach success, cross that line, and be miserable.
Yeah. I feel like I have a good one for
Tell
you
me,
with
tell me.
that. Exactly that. So I'm 42. My
You're a
first,
baby.
okay, I'll take it. So my first career, so as at 21, I did radiology. So I did like 10 years in that. And at some point in the middle, probably like, I don't know, when I was 24, I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. So
Awesome.
I was working full time, burning myself out, and also doing pre med and trying to volunteer. I didn't know how everything worked. I just like bought the books, How to Become a Doctor. I literally went to Barnes and
Nice.
Noble and like was like and I didn't have the right mentor, but I tried. I thought that I
Yeah.
had good mentors, but people mostly don't know and they get it wrong, and that's okay. So I feel like it took me longer and I had to want it more and I had to figure out my why, several different low points and just push through and almost burn out several times and try to quit. And people were like, "You're not quitting." All of this, 20 years about. I mean, it was way longer than it needed to be, but
But you're
I
here.
made it. And you know what? I got my first job as a doctor after I graduated, and I just cried. I was like, this is awful. This is awful. I
Oh, I'm sorry.
thought
Why?
so I did a telemedicine position, and I really feel like the people that were my support team just forgot about me because I'm at home. But to me, I was like, it took me so many years to be here. I was like overzealous, ready, waiting at my computer to call my patients, and they had like 40 people on there. It was supposed to be a long day, but then here it is like 11 o'clock, and nobody has readied any of my patients. There's like a process, like a check-in, and I've tried to even like just go around them. I'm like, I'll just do it myself. I can ready people. How hard
And
could it
create more
be?
work for you.
Yeah.
And add more work to you, right?
Oh my god! But I didn't mind it, right? Because I was like, but then so the admin like came
Right,
down on me,
right.
and so I was like, this is horrible.
The admin and the control.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I had to throw that in there. You know why?
Why?
Because I think you and I are very similar in that respect. Something that's simple, like even in my marriage, where you know what, you're not doing it good enough or right enough. I'll just do it.
Yeah, that's
So
me.
then,
It's
but
not
what you
good.
do, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's really poor leadership,
It's
by the
poor
way.
leadership.
And I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean that, like
No, it
from
is.
the
I
bottom
agree.
of my heart.
Yeah, and I actively work
Because
on
then
that for
you
myself.
become, yeah, you enable them, right?
I'm my own
you enable
worker.
people. Yeah, yeah. So part
I'm
of
like, how can I? Yeah, it's so
yeah.
you're in burnout that
So
way. It's a very bad
right,
plan. You need help. You need a
we
support.
all do.
Yeah, it's like there's a team because there's a team. You're sharing the workload. So like not one person is doing all the work, but here's me. I'm like, I'll just
I'll
scoot
just
you
do
out of
it.
the way. And that's stupid. I was so tired. I was so mad. I was so irritated and I hated my job. And I was just like out of energy. It physically just fatigued me. And I was just like, this is not it. I have to figure it out. So
I think it's so what I've kind of learned through all of that, right? Any door that I enter, I visualize what do I want my family, my career to look like 5, 10 years from now, and what do I got to do to get there? Because we're born to create. When we try to manage, that's when stress, like that's when things start kind of like we're born to create.
yeah.
And when you visualize and you see things and you start working, that's when we become creators.
Yeah, and so on that note, like when I saw what I wanted to be and create and do, but then the gap is like this. I'm the first doctor in my family.
Amen.
Nobody's going to do it. Nobody knows how to do it. No one's going to help me do it because they can't, you know? So it's really just like I have to just figure it out. And there's those moments where like you do have to
question.
give a lot more than your counterparts. And it looks like this is not fair. Like this person, they get to just live such
Is life fair though?
it's not
It's
fair.
not.
It's not fair. And I had to like make peace with that.
And you do. I have this analogy, right? In the sports, I don't know how familiar you are with Boston Marathon. I never ran a marathon before, but Boston Marathon, right? You have about 20 to 30,000 runners. Let me ask you this: is there enough room for all 20, 30,000 to start at the starting line?
That's a good question. No.
So they're what?
There's only
So
so
does
much
everybody start
real
at the
estate.
starting line?
No.
No. So in your position,
Oh,
you
that's
didn't get
me.
to. You didn't. You're probably not way in the back.
I feel like
but
I
you
was
were not-
I was
You're in the
way
middle,
I was
sister.
I
You're in the
don't
middle.
know. I was pretty
Hey,
back there.
we can probably go to maybe like Africa or some of the third world countries, and let's compare. I'm not trying to like
That's funny.
minimize
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
your path and your journey because it
Yeah.
was challenging. Like I admire like
Yeah.
that you sought this goal,
Yeah.
and regardless of the obstacles that included lack of support,
Yeah. I had a lot
you
of good
did it.
reasons to quit.
But you didn't, and you can take that to the bank.
Thank
and
you.
anytime you come up with any other challenges later in life, you have that memory and your memory drive that you can tap into it. So I'm going to give you something very biblical. Testimony. You know what that means? Testimony, there's tests. So biblically, there's stories in the Bible that testify that certain things took place.
Yeah.
And they build this, whether this like a rock or some type of, not a temple, but structure to remind them like, hey, we were there and we came here.
Yeah.
And the same thing with us. We have to testify to ourselves, like, but we never do. Like, no, I went through all those challenges in medical
Painfully.
field,
Yeah.
but I survived and I'm
Mm-hmm.
better for it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come through a storm again, I've been through storms before,
Mm-hmm.
and you tap into that to help you believe, because
Mm-hmm.
hope, if you don't have hope and faith in anything, then it's
Ugh,
not,
I feel like
right?
I had a moment like losing hope and faith in marriages, especially the second one. I was like, oh my goodness, seriously, again. But then, like walking through that whole process, knowing how painful it was the first time. But then it's like, I had my cousin, she started laughing one day and I'm just like breaking down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
But it's
okay. The
but
pain is where I learned
but
and I
look at you,
grew.
you're smiling from it. Same
Yeah.
here.
She's like, you're fine. Like,
No.
you're never going to be as low as you were the first time. Like, it's like exactly like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah.
You learn from it and no one's going to, you're actually going to get through it. It's fine.
You do. We
Yeah.
always do. We always make it through.
Whether, and I think it's a wiring. Like you've created in that stress a pathway that the nerves and the dendrites, it's physical structures that we've proven. They're physically there. There's
And
proof.
we're creating pathways in the way that we think.
Yes,
And the way
and
that
cope.
we think leads to how we feel. And
Yeah.
the way that we feel leads to coping,
Yes.
good or bad.
So it's going to be a shorter duration and not as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
interesting.
like whenever you think about pain, there's people that have no pain. Can you imagine? It seems like that would be a good thing.
No.
They're physically born without any sensory receptors. They cannot have any sensory or
So-
sensation of pain, hot, cold, sharp.
That's interesting, but I think that it, on the other side of the token, they're probably not able to experience joy and happiness at the level that others.
Interesting. I actually need to see
Probably
what the
research.
emotional center was involved. I'm sure, there's some variation, but what I can say is that you don't realize like all like the little micro changes that we did in position, right? Like you're sitting here, like you shift your weight, you move a little bit, like you have to have that to get like blood supplied to the skin that you're sitting on, like you have to have those micro moves. And there's people who just don't do that. They don't think to do it because their body doesn't tell them to do it. It's just so crazy to think that that's an actual like necessary evil.
But yeah, but we're created so unique, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like think
And
about that.
so all things that we just said, I don't still see like another way that you don't painfully get to to learning. I think it just, you have to.
Well, I disagree.
Okay.
There's two
Yeah.
ways that we can learn, right? So I'll give you the behavior psychology background. Example: a kid goes and touches the fire, you get burned, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one way of learning, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm tired of that way. What's the other way?
The other way is like,
I'm ready.
hey, honey, don't touch the fire.
Oh,
It
like
hurts.
listening to, yeah.
Wisdom. So what I've learned is, because I've been very stubborn and
I'm
had
so
to
stubborn.
learn the hard way.
Ugh,
But
yeah.
it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah,
So
it does not.
I try to align myself with people with a lot of wisdom
Yeah.
and listen to them.
And just choosing
it
them
gets you-
right.
So and then but then you learn from them. So you learn quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You save yourself some pain and trouble,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That'd be great.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's part of like one of the things that I try to surround myself, and it's really difficult to find just solid human beings who really are willing to give their time and their love, because it's
Yeah.
love, right? Because
Yeah.
somebody who's going to mentor you and give you wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
they're not really expecting anything in return. And you and I have talked,
Yeah.
had some conversations about what is love, right?
Yeah.
Conditional, unconditional, right?
Yeah.
But somebody who's willing to pour into you,
Regardless of how terrible of a person you are.
right?
That is
and
like, that's
yeah.
crazy.
So to provide some wisdom and some guidance, and to be able to be open and listen to that advice and that wisdom, whether it's a fitness in the fitness industry or health industry, and taking it and run with it, right?
Yeah.
That saves you a lot of time. I think that's a skill that we as humans don't have, but I think of it too is that there's not a lot of individuals who are willing to, quote unquote, I would call it mentoring,
Mm-hmm.
and spend because you're giving your time, right?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I think that's where I'm at this
And
point
the
of
goal is
life
to be
where
whole. I like that.
um, when you give, here, I'll give you this analogy. Um, a tree, apple tree,
Mm-hmm.
what does it grow?
Apples
For the tree or for others?
for others.
So when you have wisdom, when you have love and you give it to others, guess what happens to that tree? More fruit grows. But we've
That
been
is really
taught,
cool.
so we've been taught, whether it's money, whether it's knowledge, whether it's whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
love, society tells you to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
When you keep it, it doesn't grow. It doesn't bear any more fruit.
Yep.
When I give it,
Mm-hmm.
more
Yeah.
love, more wisdom, whatever it is that I'm giving, more grows inside
Yeah.
because there is a spirit in me is not what the world or other gives.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it doesn't make sense because it's really like reverse of how we've been trained and how we've been
Yeah.
raised and how society and the world works.
Well, to me, my takeaway is just like you have to like look beyond yourself. And so when I went into an industry initially thinking, okay, I like aesthetics, but I realized I don't so much care about the outside. If I'm like, if I can already see that your inside is like such like it's so not okay, I can't ignore it.
Is that
I'm not,
healthy?
it's hard to talk Botox if I see that your soul is hurting. I
Ooh,
don't know.
you're striking the nerve here,
That's why
because well,
that's
no,
why I
like
got into functional med.
I love this too, because you know people going in, whether it's steroids, whether it's the enhancement, you're doing it literally because you're not okay with yourself at the root
Mm-hmm.
of it. You're not okay with it. Like, just to be honest, right? And we
Yeah.
all have insecurities. I'm not.
Yeah. But what
Um,
if it's your job? Like, say your job
so
is like to compete.
like, are we talking about bodybuilding?
Hmm.
I wouldn't do it
But
because
what if that's your passion and you love it so much? I mean, to see the competitions and to see the,
there's natural competitions.
yes, you're
There's
right.
natural competitions. So
Yeah.
like for me is I'm gonna stay as whole and as natural
Mm-hmm.
as God created me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I start, especially now, like 10, 15, I didn't think this way, but
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at now, anytime I start walking away from my natural creating abilities and skills,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm walking away from God's plan for me.
Mm-hmm.
God doesn't want me to do steroids. To compete for what?
Yeah.
Because uh, this is just me. I'm here to glorify Him and honor Him. And anytime I step outside of that, I become the idol.
Mm.
And
So,
then my
like, living your
ego.
purpose is definitely, I feel like, the point, but then it takes so hard to arrive there. Like, some people seem to find their purpose
I
really
just,
early. It took me a while.
completely transparent. I sometimes even question if I'm walking on purpose.
Yeah, no, I question that too.
But
But then
I
you have
think we
moments
confuse.
that,
But because the part of this is that we have purpose, we have assignments, and they're kind of the same, but they're not. So an assignment, I'll give you an example. I have daughters, right? So part of an assignment in this part of my purpose right now is those kids, for me to be the best father that I can be for whatever age and whatever need that
so
they
it's like
have.
your level of impact on them, your footprint.
Right. So that's an assignment. The job you have is an assignment. How are you going to steward that? I have an assignment at work. How am I going to lead the staff? How am I going to lead students? How am I going to treat them? How am I going to
Mm-hmm.
discipline them?
Yeah.
And it's so there's an assignment, and it's not about me. It's about how can I serve the students, the staff, and the parents.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up trash. It's
When
there's
you could
there's
delegate it.
when I can delegate it, but I don't. but I don't because
It's a balance.
one of the things that I've come to realize that I really enjoy, two characteristics that are really really hard to find in this world, and I don't have them.
And
I'm
we can
trying to
end
get there,
on those because I know it's
but
really time
yeah.
to wrap up.
So it's confidence and humility.
Okay.
If you
Confidence
can
and
find
humility.
individuals who are confident in humility,
I
because a
like
lot of
that.
people have confidence but we lack humility. If you can find individuals, those are really good traits to find in leaders, believe it or not.
Well, I've been humbled, so I feel like
I'm surprised.
I feel
I'm sorry.
I was very humbled. So through that, there's confidence in
Through
what we
that.
do here. Thank you so much for
No,
joining
thank
us,
you. Thank you for
Jose.
having me.
This was a pleasure, and let's do it again sometime. Hope
Absolutely.
y'all learned something.